Good afternoon, everyone. My report is about the three great poems entitled first, Tiny Feet, written by Gabriela Mistral, then Poetry by Pablo Neruda, and lastly, The Rubaiyat by Omar Khayyam, translated by Edward Fitzgerald. Please pay attention and listen well. Our first subject would be Tiny Feet from the country of Chile.
Chile is a country of startling contrast and extreme beauty, with attractions ranging from the towering volcanic peaks of the Andes to the ancient forests of the Lake District. The literature of Chile is internationally renowned and prolific, with inspirational Chilean authors such as Isabel Allende and Pablo Neruda. Tiny Feet was written by Gabriela Mistral. Gabriela Mistral is a Chilean educator, diplomat, poet, and feminist who was the first Latin American to win the Nobel Prize in Literature. She is one of Chile's most distinguished writers.
This poem tells the story of a poor urban girl who had nothing in life. As she struggles with her life, she never gave up helping other people in spite of the kind of life she had. Then, even though the child is alone in the world, she's still making life the best it can be and has hope for the future. Her love was pure and unconditional. Love is in her as the love that goes beyond one's expectation, a love that extends beyond oneself, one's capacity, and one's ability.
These lines will help us understand the sadness that the poem is meant to convey. It expresses the agony that the child must endure. At this point, the child is showing that he can beat all the adversities and problems coming into her life, that despite all the struggles and problems she's facing, she stood up firm and strong.
Children represent our hope for the future, and if adults do not encourage, support, or become a positive influence on them, the future would be hopeless. We, adult ones, should protect and give importance to children, to protect their innocence, and we are the ones who are responsible for giving them a society that will shelter, support, and secure them.
Pablo Neruda is the greatest Chilean poet. His first major poetic works, 20 Love Poems and A Song of Despair, were a marvelously sensuous collection of love poetry. He often wrote in green ink, which has his personal symbol for desire and hope.
The first line of the first stanza tells us directly what the poem is all about. Neruda personified poetry and made it seem as though poetry approached the persona and inspired him. The persona tries to explain how he began to inspire by using negatives, meaning he is stating all the places where poetry did not came from. He described this event as something in life changing by giving the readers an image of something bright coming to a very dark place, and that brightness is poetry.
It is easy from the rhythm and form of these lines to realize that he did not go looking for a way to express himself. It came to him. He does not know where or how or when, just that suddenly it was there. The meaning of these lines is clear by the way that the lines are punctuated and by which words finish each one.
Pablo Neruda captured the very essence of what is to be so intently captivated by something and inspired that it almost becomes your very soul. The persona of the poem can be described as someone who just recently discovered a passion or love or likeness towards poetry, and this can be concluded from the first line of the poem. Basically, the entire poem is telling us about how the persona realized that he is starting to like poetry and how it touched him, and what happened during the first time that he started writing poems. The passion that burns within the author, urging him into expressing himself and writing poetry that created elements that grabs you at just the right time in your life and stays with you through the rest of it. The experience of those first moments, as far as I am aware, there is no word in the English language to describe it, but there should be, for no human life seems complete without it.
The Rubaiyat, written by Omar Khayyam, translated by Edward Fitzgerald, was originated from the country of Iran. Iran is also known as Persia. Officially, the Islamic Republic of Iran is a country in West. Iran literature is one of the world's oldest literatures. It spans 2.5 millennia, though much of the pre-Islamic material has been lost. Omar Khayyam was a noted Persian mathematician and astronomer. More admired by his contemporaries as a scientist, he was not highly regarded as a poet. Edward Fitzgerald, the Rubaiyat English translator, infused the verses with great lyric power. Hence, the Rubaiyat became the best-known and beloved Persian poetry in the West. This translation was the most distinguished literary achievement of Edward.
The poem extols the hedonistic pleasures of food, sex, and wine, and the importance of living for today because the future is uncertain and life is fleeting. It contemplates the riddle of life and expresses mankind's doubts, regrets, and fears. The poem begins not only at the break of a new day, but also on New Year's Day, which occurred in Khayyam's time at the vernal equinox, the beginning of spring. This season provides the poet with useful symbols: the grape, the rose, the nightingale, and the verdant garden, and the spring setting inspired the poet to ponder the mystery of creation, life's brevity, the futility of trying to understand life's purpose, and the wisdom of enjoying life while it lasts. As the day progresses into evening, the narrator associates his fading youth and eventual death with the approach of darkness.
From these lines, Omar, the hedonist, mathematician of genius, confesses with a smile that the world can't be explained by mathematical formulas. The most towering human intellects are profoundly ignorant. The vital questions about my importance, my place in the scheme of the world, are precisely those no one can answer.
The poem advocates that humankind make the most of life through intense sensual living within a world of moral ambiguity and religious doubt. The poem reminds us that life is short, everyone will die and can never return. We should live today and not worry about yesterday and tomorrow. It teaches us how to enjoy the brief stay on earth, enjoy our living for today, and make the most of it.